Hello again. I can't promise any more preciseness with this one after all, because of course I have ideas, but also of course I didn't copy my description, so I did briefly look out the window. I kind of kept forgetting to do so, but I kind of stood at the stairs for a moment and didn't really see much, just a bunch of parked cars, so not a whole lot to say there. Um, I'm just gonna. I know it's right at the start of things, but as I sit here and settle in, it's kind of like, am I missing anything? I know. What did they said, that's because that's what came to me before the name, and they don't necessarily say the name either. But said, make sure you have your area set up. Usually I do, but sometimes, sometimes all you can do is your best. So I wanted to first start off with the topic of judgment. And I also, well, it'll tell me if I need to plug this in, but it's fully charged right now, so it drops fast. But, and I want to share examples, and somebody left because they're like, I don't know. Anyway, I want to share examples, and it's meant to be as is, of some recent something just the other day actually, and um also, maybe what I'll just say is if you have questions about the comment, I'll either put it as its own comment. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Or, specifically under yours. It's just other people may ask too. So depends how much comments it goes. Oh, I know this and that. But as far as if you're curious to talk more about the description, because I don't know how much I'm gonna work it into this, but it was thoughts I was having, and I wanted to remember them for myself, maybe future videos. We'll see. And it was an interesting kind of way that I kind of thought of the things. So, um, not to whatever, but I don't know. I just kind of thought it was. Um, I think probably before long I'm going to find it a little bit too up here. So, but anywho, and I'm not a big fan of, and I guess the other ones are both of them because there was two. That's funny. Not a big fan of this particular lotion, which is something I always like to have nearby. Other than that, I got what I need. But let me say some things. One, like want the videos to do as well as they can, but I'm also happy with even just a little bit of interaction. And so once somebody is here and they're engaging and we've settled into the video in that way, then I feel a bit more, even though I know that's not going to be, the thing for everybody, but you can skip ahead. I will feel a bit better. Not to say that I want to leave as soon as they get here, but I will feel like, it'll be a bit more accepted if I briefly do. Because yes, I was actually coming upstairs as the dog was wanting to come downstairs, but he's going to be downstairs plenty today. But I think I also forgot the AC on downstairs. But then again, is that a problem? I mean, I don't know. I mean, keeps it cool down there. It is a bit breezy, but it's getting kind of warm out, I think. Warm breeze. Anywho. But I essentially even really took about a 15-minute rest. So, but I did. It was something I could have mentioned in. I don't know about last night's. Maybe one of the things, but two of the things I noticed after that. There's a particular person online who does three things that I could have judged, and maybe still slightly do. And I wanted to talk about them. And that person is me. Just kidding. In a anonymous and respectful way. But yes, I am thinking I wouldn't mind getting that. But I think that the point I made was good that I did make. So, not to toot my own bugle, as I like to say. But yeah, this is really, yeah. So maybe there's more room, but the mirror means that used to touch the thing, didn't it? Or was that didn't it? Or was that the one downstairs? Didn't it? Anywho, just trying to decide if I actually just want to do this downstairs. Even though I'm kind of sort of feeling one of the reasons that I came up again, I also kind of did take care of that. I don't remember if there was another reason. Oh, right, right, of course. And there may be a clue within this, there may not be. And that's all I'll say about that. But there was, and it feels best. But and so I'm gonna stick with it as long as it does. So about judgment, 3 thoughts came into my awareness the other night of an individual who, in no particular order, it's a slight pet peeve, a smidgen of a pet peeve to me when somebody. I mean, I understand if you're out and about, you're like, "What's a pet peeve?" Just kidding. No, sorry, I don't mean to be calling anybody stupid, but they left. They were there for like a moment or two, but it's pet peeve when people talk about pet peeves. It's also a bit of a what am I call it to me? Oh, did I? Oh, right. So just before I forget, um, I found something to say about it. So finally. And then I'll look at those things that she sent me and I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay. So I'm trying to focus here. And I have actually started to take something from me. I don't know if I feel like other things are sometimes making the difference, but I'm also just me. It really does kind of make me want to just, you know what, I'm just gonna look at the notes I made in a meeting last night. And it's right around here. This is kind of rough notes, but this was from one. Well, I don't. I think she does, or at least she has in her family. Person with ADHD, neurodivergent to another. Um, basically, people with those things need more rest because they get overstimulated. It helps because the brain can the thoughts can move really fast. Other people that kind of either in their own world or numb or just kind of less aware, right? Um, I'm glad I'm getting some of this in. I said, but do we need to keep track of, or do we need to kind of just have a one track mind? Function at a normal pace. What about somewhere in the middle? She also said no one should feel the need to fit in. We're meant to stand out, meant to change the world and help people see things differently instead of zoning out. The monotony of life. Um, what does movement look like in your day? Um, your mind and your paradigms, healing arts. There was talk about the difference between the mind and the brain. I don't know if I see it. Uh, more color, different thinkers, life sets limits. Some of these things we can talk about later. Do you have conflict within yourself? Yeah, those are what stood out. So now that I got that out of the way, okay. I mean, third time might be the charming or the Prince Charming, as I sometimes say, because I think it's a funny phrase said in my way. I'm just quickly putting something in the chat, but I also want to remember, like, I have some things that I'm following, the viewer left, and then I have other things that are in my head, and I want to make sure that I get them out because I think that it's powerful. It was very powerful for me to experience them, for instance, which is that's about everything. I have to call that later. Which is about the judgment thing. To finally get to that, it really hasn't been that long. It hasn't been like really like getting to the point, but it yet here I am getting to the point. So why is there so many waters up here? So two were already up here. I don't know why, because one of us drinks much water. Because I drink fruit juice, it has water in it. Of course, why is made to pull that water? Anyway, so one of the pet peeves was people that wear headphones in video meetings, and also the imbalance of when somebody does and somebody doesn't, and like mics, like I mean, there are some people that use mics and you still can't seem to hear them. But then even with the volumes up, but then there are speakers, there are headphones, they help, and maybe that's why actually, maybe for whatever reason they can't hear the other person, so they put headphones on. Well, that makes a lot of sense actually. The mics, I still think that most devices record naturally pretty good. But I thought of a different way past that kind of what I'm gonna call it, and I can't remember that pet peeve or whatever. And it's something that used to bug me for a long time, or just kind of like, oh, it's just distracting me, and it's just why. But I don't remember what the other kind of thing was at the moment. I wish I did, but what I said was probably, as I guess, good enough as far as that goes. 30 mark, but there was two other ones, and I remember. Oh, okay. So the person uh, didn't have a lot of follow or had a lot of followers, but didn't follow a lot of people. In fact, I came across somebody else that had hearts along the top of their page, had a lot of followers, didn't follow people. Then there are some people though that have followed other people as well, and for whatever reason, I decide I don't want to follow them. But I think it's nice if somebody's following you to follow back. Especially like online. And the viewer left. I was like, I don't want to follow you. Don't follow me. Their misjudgment, they're wrong, or maybe, like I say, it's nothing personal. And I used to think on that particular site too that if you, and I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's just simply landing on a page that showed that you're following. I think it makes it look better. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm not quite out of the feelings on that one, because it's kind of like why does it matter? Because I think, yeah, like I say, if somebody is taking the time to follow your content, I mean, I suppose it's true. Just because you like somebody's content doesn't mean they like yours. It's true, but there should at least be, and even I would say a pretty good number. But again, well, I know that YouTube stats aren't always right, and it depends if it reaches the right person or not. But no, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that one I'm still kind of a little unsure about. But It's a big and lovely butt. No. The other thing is that he was doing an interview with somebody, and somebody said something about how, and she seemed like a nice person, but she also kind of seemed kind of judgy. Speaking of that topic, because she said, as I quickly move the fan a bit, because she said, you go to a store and people are using the registers, the employees are using the registers. If you're struggling, know that you might not be struggling for much longer. And, so don't succumb to doing bad things, because your life can improve and surprise you, and then you'd feel pretty bad. But that they use cash registers, and they don't know basic math. The other person in the house kind of thinks that kind of way too, but and was in the kitchen, I think, making, not making noises, but making noises, doing what he's doing, and didn't really respond to that. However, this keeps calling out to me, baby. Mixy feelings still, but kind of. I want to give this stuff a try. It's only been sitting there for, no, it sounds weird. Skin conditioning milk. The one that I actually like the most that we have at the moment is the unscented one, which is better for those times when I do go out. Although I have that other one, but it's actually not as good. Maybe I should get that one. I'll leave you with something to read first. And 11 to 17 is not that far, and it's not going to be that much longer. But before I do, sometimes it's good to kind of sit and ask yourself what feels best in a particular moment. And I don't want to take too long, because if people see that note, they'll be like, okay, the 17 mark has long since passed, and I haven't left at the 17 mark either. And, I try and be as accurate as I can. One thing I'm noticing is that I want my lotion. I also had to do another quick pit stop upstairs here. And the thing is like I say, you can pause the live if you're watching it, I believe. But I did say that beforehand. Keep Raleigh. The other day I was doing one, and I had a feel. Well, what I could do is just, when this has to be charged, if I still feel like rolling, I'll keep rolling. I'll go downstairs and charge it, because that's where the charger is. I do want to go downstairs for that one other thing, but although I do like to have the one in the kitchen too. Well, normally I don't need one up here, so that could be that one. Takes up a bit less space too, but it is warm up here. It's like when that fan is pointing directly at me, it's kind of blowing into my eyes and kind of making them feel dry, blowing on my legs and making them feel cold. And when it's not pointing at me, I'm barely feeling it. to be quite honest. So all that said, maybe I will just go downstairs in a moment. Do I need the guitar? I know I said the thing I said. I can do this. I can do this carefully. I can carry everything. And the cord's not going to get caught on anything because it's not attached. Alrighty, let's cool it off. Nobody's here right now, so I mean, I still hate to leave the screen. I do, but we do our best, right? Yeah, as much as I like podcasting up here, and I guess this is the third one up here, I kind of don't. It's kind of the environment doesn't seem to be drawing, any specific additional attention. I have to kind of alter things a little bit, and I, just for distractibility reasons, and there's other marks on there, and yeah, it's a little bit warm up here, so but I am going to just briefly stop in the other room, and then we'll go downstairs. Maybe there'll be something interesting in the when I look out the window. I don't know. I guess I slightly feel like my focus is better up here. Can you tell? Can you tell? But what's distracting it, and slightly, I just feel better up here. But what is distracting it is my need for my lotion, because my hands, I think it's somewhat the way it's designed. Honestly, that stuff, I think lotion, I think like it's somewhat designed, and now, yeah, that wasn't even as distracting in the previous video when it was there. It's somewhat designed to make you need it more, but also, I don't know, maybe it's to getting older, just, I don't know, just sensitivity to it. So I yeah, anyway, I don't have to explain any more than that. Look at yourself in the mirror. Like what you see, reflect. But I think the fact that this has to be charged is what's going on. And the dog should come downstairs. I mean, it's still early in the day, and he will be down there later. But that's, I think, that's really the deciding factor here, folks. So I'll be right back. I could just pause it briefly, I would, but I can't. So. The only thing is I don't want the dog to get hyper. He might not keep the rawhide. I'll leave it so you can come down if you want, but I won't bring him down. He knows I won't. Not like if I just got home, he could be eating. So yeah. That wasn't the one that I felt bad, but that wasn't the one that I was most kind of wanting to kind of hear from in the light of. But then at the same time, bit busy disorder. Right, it's there. Okay. Like, where's the thing with the other lyric? So yes, it's the phone and it's there. This is very interesting. I don't know why this is up here, but the Unite important. Saying cheese. Did I cover all of that yet? I'm trying to recall about the about the. I think after all this and everything else I process, I think I'll just be tired. Oh, so anyway, they were saying about how, they don't even know how to do basic math because they're using the cash register. Well, it may appear that way, but it's a lot quicker. Are these the same people that also use the self checkout instead of appreciating that there's an employee there with a job to do? Not that and that's why some people you go to them, right? But are these the same people that? I mean, it's a quickness and accuracy thing, so that you don't make mistakes. Wouldn't you rather get? I mean, some people say things and they don't think very clearly, and sometimes I'm one of them. It's true, but I try not to be, and I'm becoming more mindful of that. But wouldn't you rather get to? Oh, of course, that's closed. Wouldn't you rather get? Oh, I almost slipped. Well, maybe not, but kind of. Wouldn't you rather get the? I'm stepping on the sharp thing on the thingy. Luckily, it fell into this hand of the guitar, which actually helped catch it. But it did walk into a hole with the previous laptop, and that did not go well. So, wouldn't you rather get the accurate change? Then it would be easier to do a cell phone. It's true. Then not. And also there's learning disabilities. There are some people that just simply aren't good at math, whether you teach them the basic skills of it or not. I mean, truly. Okay, I keep saying I'm gonna go do the thing and then I don't. But I am going to put this down for a moment. But just get a water from the fridge and my lotion. So I can stay my favors. I can filter. Please forgive me. I sometimes, as I'm a free spirit and not, I mean, I honestly intended to start this one and just kind of focus on one thing, but yeah, that didn't happen. And I mean, sometimes it does, but rarely. And I must not get too upset with myself about that. And I hope you won't either. This is worthwhile. But yeah, when I'm free spirited, no filter sometimes, things come out of thy mouth. She is, but she's probably at work now. But I did want to look at that. Different things affect attitude, and you're not right or wrong for your feelings, necessarily. I guess finding that neutral thing, self-image, attitude, blah, 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 blah. If that's the theme of that video, I'm not going to watch it. I'll be right back. Okay. And I want to get through this before the dog comes. Somebody tell me that I didn't even have to use the computer because being distracted. I'll bring this with me. I'm not going to go anywhere because I have money. It may be starting to get hot out. Energy, and I don't know. At least I don't think I am. But I do want to get to this next task because there is a possibility that I might, because who knows in this life, right? And sometimes you got to take the opportunities when they come. And that's the other thing. It's important to be patient and also realize that even something that makes you feel iffy, even if it also makes you feel really good, can potentially make you feel even better. Such as there is somebody I might be connecting with soon for a very fun activity. And the end of the week is not that far, but I think it was either at the beginning of this one or somewhere in the previous one. I said, it may happen sooner than we think it will. And then, I think I would like it to. because yes, I have felt that sometimes life goes, especially in my 30s, as the viewer goes as well, too slow. Opportunities come too slow. There's lots of people lots of people to get them, and some people, therefore, don't seem to as much. And I'm also not seeing that other. I don't really like the. It's okay, but I'm also not seeing the thing I was looking for. Oh, um, yeah. Well, he always has one charging, and if not, I do have the phone. Even though I'm not big about it, there is a prolific photographer who mostly uses it, and that's not why I'm not big. Um, I can almost picture where it is, and like I say, that at least, even if the one in the or may not be charged, the other one's always charged. So I didn't find it. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I do. I didn't even know that was there. Might be in that box. Okay. Now I have felt a little bit chilly with the AC on, and the dog is down here, so hopefully he'll be quiet. If not, I'll have to give him that rawhide I found. Okay, and I do feel like it's less hard on my knees to sit back like this, and the dog looks like he's going to behave, so that's good. And I'll grab my water. I'll grab this. And let's do this thing, finally. This particular thing that I wanted to come and do. Yeah, you lay down, son. Good boy. You looked like you were going to. Now I can't tell. I also do kind of want a little bit of background noise, and he is going to be good. A little bit of background noise never hurt anybody, and I almost scraped my... Let's bring in the couch again. Sorry about the shelf. It is music, but it's so light, like I can hear it, but I don't really think, especially with the AC on, that y'all can hear it, and that's fine. That's fine. So, always something from so titty and another thing. So, I think I covered the three. Oh, right. So, but what kind of made me feel iffy is this person that I'm still trying to get familiar with, who was interviewing the person that said it, kind of echoed it back to her. And I initially, as someone who's not very great with math, kind of, I guess, took a little bit of offense to it. But I thankfully pretty quickly, and this is something that I guess I feel I'm getting better at. And it can help. It can help. Mindset, perspective. It can be so hard to change in some areas and or to see some things differently. But here's the thing: is I'm obviously an in-depth thinker. I try not to negatively judge people. Sometimes things pop into the mind pretty quickly, and then you grab hold. But and yeah, so it almost goes against my values, but not entirely some of my personality to do that. But I don't like that I do, and most of us, hopefully all of us, but why do we do it? We do it. One reason we do it is to try and feel comfortable about the world around, people in the world around us, you know, um, you know, especially unfamiliar people or whatever. But at the same time, just again, we don't necessarily, we can, and some everybody's different, but we can, like, we're not going to necessarily, do so for every single person that's around us, right? Or every person in general, I was going to say, or a non-single person. You know what I mean? Just kidding. But no. What I realized is that he might have just been simply agreeing to not get into a disagreement. to not kind of, you know, to be able to continue comfortably the interview. Like not a job interview, just a regular interview. And then very possibly right after that, he said, I don't talk to this person again. Or he had some sort of realization and decided that it was still worthwhile. I don't get that joke. Um, but it's interesting what is, you know, um, it's just something I saw on this device when I came to the screen. Even though the thread's kind of showing with like two stems for some weird reason, I'm not really sure why. I've not noticed that. That obviously is this new? It's like, well, that stems to that, which stems to that, which stems to that. Do we need lines to tell us this? I mean, seriously? I mean, seriously? Like, I'm thinking, what does this site think? Not this site, but this site think that we're dumb? I've never noticed that. Is that a judgment that I can? Yeah, it's a small thing, I suppose. So, whatever. But, like, earlier this morning, I didn't see it showing that way. And I don't know if it's just the longer I'm looking at it or what, but, like, it's pretty obvious, I think. Anywho, um, one other thing I just quickly want to do while I'm multitasking here is just kind of redo something quickly because when you have sometimes you can maybe kind of do more than necessary for whatever reason, and maybe you shouldn't, but but um I guess I'm thinking, okay. I don't know if this is his website or just a site that he's on. I think that's somebody different. Sorry, I'm getting smidgen distracted here. Is that the same person? Shouldn't hovering tell me so? Sorry. Yeah, I think it is. Yep. It's not about what we do, but who we inspire. Um, and I want to check out his YouTube more. Not that I'm getting the vibes I'm getting are good, but this isn't the first time I've heard of in a certain industry. And this is something else I've actually judged in the past too, is where somebody will make a post to a group and they'll say to the admins, delete if not allowed, as if the admins don't already know that. Like, you don't have to tell them what to do. And actually, he's got it in star parenthesis. PC's really following me a lot lately. It's a group and it only has one friend. Okay, this is via what's his face. And who is it? And 17.9K members. Or one member is a friend. One friend is a member. But who? Huh, it's weird. He's not even an admin. Or is he? So I'm being distracted. Okay, I recognize that name actually. Sorry. Yeah, he's not even an admin or a moderator for some reason. Maybe he was at one point. Anyway, who is the friend? Sorry. So interesting. Okay, sorry. But I don't even remember what I why I what I what I 3 years ago, um, and why I got distracted. And you know what? But again, just a reminder that everything in kindness, empathy, understanding, you know, within reason. Like you have to stand up for yourself in that. But for the most part, I think that those are good things, and that we all should remember. But there was a word that jumped out. A different word that's kind of similar. There's a word that jumped out in this post, I think, which I'm not seeing now, but it might be in the comments. Anyway, I want to remember what I'm doing, and then I can browse. Um, I just don't really feel like this is the platform to necessarily um, ask one curious question. Um, it wasn't okay. Anyway, let's focus and do the rest of this, and then wrap it up. This isn't any shorter. I don't know if I want to do a third one. If I do 3 in under 2 hours, I don't know what YouTube would think. What's going on? I mean, people do come on YouTube often, but that's a little strange. And it's like, give us your features or whatever. Um, but I've done 2 in a row before, and that's not a problem. And I should eat something soon, by the way, just so you know, in case you were wondering. One thing I did want to mention on the money side of things, though, is that in most industries, we're all needing to make a living, and some of us struggle. So sometimes making ends meet, and so the desire is there even stronger. And but it's like when there's 2 people involved, especially maybe not more than 2 sometimes, but at least 2. It's like if you both want to get paid, then you're really just passing money back and forth to each other. If you don't have that other person paying you. So unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all bad, but unfortunately, you do sometimes, I think, have to do some things for free. Um, may go without saying, and nobody's here to hear it at the moment. But I welcome you to check out the other videos that are posted, and any that are posted after, in the future, for more of my story and share yours. I did kind of want to ask. I don't know how to put this because I am fairly open. Certain so one other thing connected to this individual is I was saying that a certain way of reaching me, which would have made the most sense, I could not be reached currently. But what I said was that it was being wonky. Is there another way? Suggested another way, not something I use. I'm a little bit confused right now. Well, I was the only one on this post. Just a moment here. That was kind of strange. Because, well, it's my most recent comment. And when I click the comment out of the way, it just goes away from the page. But when I go back and then I go to it, well, I guess it is showing to me, but there is something else there, and I don't think it looks like it's either. It's just a very small sliver of a preview of the picture. So I'm curious. I mean, but hopefully you can say more than just yes to just one of us. What I could do is, say, I'll ask. You can say yay or nay. Both is fine. About a certain something. But basically, that was another realization I had this morning because I noticed that a number changed, and I thought, at first, well, oh, you told this person I can't be reached that way. I can see the indicator, but I can't. Anyway, I don't need to get super specific. I didn't get super specific with my initial comment, so you possibly thought, well, you can at least see it, and here's an alternate way. But yeah, nope. And now that I put that on again, I don't know what this goal button is, or if I've ever seen it before. I think I have. I don't know what it is. Anywho, I put the YouTube thing in there. I don't. Really record my own device. One that has audio, preferably. Maybe. Just because I think I'd like to, but not necessarily live. Whatever I just did. Okay. So you can always see transcript. Copy the text from the transcript. Put it below and say, if you'd like to hear this live, it's at the end of the video. See how you may have. Eat, drink, be merry, with purpose and free in spirit. The difference of taking a few extra moments. Woke up and it spilled out. I was then woke. Just kidding. Sometimes good to not rush the eager excitement, as much sense as it makes, and sometimes it's okay. Now, I am just sitting in curiosity, basking in it, really. So, what is this thing that is not showing up? That is bizarre. Really, quite odd. Seems to only show up when I paste this back in. But if I take it out, like not paste but not post. When I take it out, I promise I'm not seeing things. I don't really want to show because yeah. But anyway, like my photo does not have those colors in it. My current one. When I paste it, like I say, it won't let me scroll and see it, but it seems to be in the top line, which looks like text, looks quite long, and that would be the name. Can I zoom in? Oh, it is me. It's just that's in that sizing, the color ratio was odd. But okay, next question is, what was it that I said? Beyond that? Oh, I remember now. Okay. I'll be doing the music in a moment. And okay, so what does those chords sound like? What do them chords sound like? And the dog's so used to noise and music, they didn't even flinch when I started playing guitar. His eye maybe twitched a little bit. It's like, well, what am I expecting him to do? Stand up, clap, and enjoy. I just noticed something. Mostly, it's just in this bit here. Um, like I don't want to be I don't want to be instructing people to do certain things, but I kind of do. But I could also say what I want to say in this spot, even if there's nobody currently watching. If they are meant to hear it, they'll hear it. If they don't, they won't. And I can't remember what the activity's been like along the top. I mean, I've been looking at the screen mostly, but I can't remember. But it would need some time. But so, what I will say though, even though it could totally be for me, and when it's meant to be, it will be. But I will say that I do feel like this is meant to be. No, I don't really want to do the third one. Or do I? Yeah. I don't know. No, because I'm so close to getting to it now. And speaking about people that look familiar. Then I instanced it twice and with two different icons. That's a little odd. Sorry, I'm just a smidgen distracted. I don't know what playing age range. Maybe with this site you just can't select your certain age, but why is it called playing age? Like that's kind of odd. Like definitely in his 20s, but like tell me your actual age and don't back around. You know what I mean? And I don't think it was like an acting type of thing, but maybe it was. I could ask. A little bit awkward, but I could ask. But anyway, on we go. So I was playing with words a little bit, but get to the music original. So whether it needs to be said or not, for me, maybe it does as well. Pause and just they left. Like, well, if you're just talking to yourself, I don't need to be here for it. And maybe sometimes that's what it seems like it is, but whatever. Interestingly, though, sometimes it is good to kind of, you know, do things that make us feel more comfortable. You know, if even our own wording, we say something and then we look at it later and think, no, that I don't like how that sits. It reminds me of something I don't want to be reminded of or whatever. But you know, um, which isn't like near the end, but yeah. And I could easily retype that, but I'll have to look and see if there's any of these things that I want. Yes, I wanted to see that chord thing for a moment. So I did that one earlier. I think it was fun. Okay. And that may or may not sound like something else, but that's just the way music is sometimes, you know. I can't believe how good the dog's being. I am getting hungry though. I want to have some lunch. So don't distract me anymore. Just kidding. Um, so be still. We are here with each other. And man, how I have also they're like, I am still. What do you tell me to be? Just kidding. You know, but um again, you know, and eventually I do promise, you know, it's new and it's novel and I have fun with it, even if it's annoying. But eventually I promise I will stop kind of making mention of it. Although I do think that it's welcoming to mention, oh, welcome, you know, and I can just simply say, you know, anyway, I shouldn't let out all my secrets. I'll be finished this before noon hour, but maybe she takes an early lunch. Who knows? Man, how I've also needed to hear that. More so, therefore, it became my life for a while. Still, somewhat is at times. To not that I had a super hectic life before then, but to slow down, work on myself, take a while, despite my desire sometimes, to get ready for the next chapter while enjoying what that brings, you know, what the in between brings. And, you know, maybe you've been there, maybe you will be there. And so I just want to mention the importance of that. You know, sometimes there's not much we can do about it. We may think we have not much limits and you know, we it becomes clear sometimes when you know what you can control and what you can't. But it's always good to at least find some sense of control. And yeah, I mean, um, sometimes despite best efforts, there will still be the struggles. So, um, and it's actually kind of ironic that this is, I don't know what that was there. I almost tried to reload the page. That this is kind of being put, or that this, it keeps bouncing to the bottom and almost reloading the page. Um, it's not letting me kind of take out what's already been said, so I'm not going to try. Like what I already have just said here. Don't get me up. 15 minutes, 8 minutes to be there. Not online plenty already. Is it reloading? I don't know what that means. Okay, so, and I thought I saw one there, but well, there is a one because it's just hit the hour mark. But other than that, well, I mean, I'm past that moment. For anybody who sees this afterwards, they may not be. I think I'll have to do it the same way I did it before. Sorry. There is something that's really distracting me. But there's also, I think, potentially some extra good news that is unfolding. And I'm very thankful. Now, something else that I needed to hear more was really specifically, I almost want to wait till there's someone here, but I don't. Because I'm just sitting here in silence. The hard part about playing this with music is the scrolling. You know, like I put it in its own, like in a different mode instead of in kind of a comment area that, you know, I'm not sending through. And it just, what's interesting is I do seem to be the other way. No, it's just not going there for some weird reason. Um, I didn't expect. Well, if it's going to reload, okay. Well, there's the answer, I think. But I was mentioning. I was mentioning in the previous video, or in a video the other day, one of my original songs, and I was trying to find the full version of it, but finding some other things that I've written along the way. Again, you know, that reminder of ooh, hello. Um, yeah, mid-June I'll get that ready. Sorry. I do know a way, and maybe I should just try anyway. So I got past that one thing. So I'm going to do that, look a little bit more, then decide if that's the best way, and go from there. I am kind of waiting for someone to tune in to see this as I'm about to do this performance piece. Um, I'll work through that later. But yeah, it wasn't. That's what it was supposed to do. Even if that looks, I can that, but it wasn't on the phone. Okay, sorry. Um, I think the very first one would probably give me some good insight into things. We missed playing Happy Birthday for my friend's mother-in-law, I think, or grandmother. The word she used, I wasn't entirely sure. Um, um, Pommy. Um, what should I do look a lot like? Okay, sorry, I was a briefly distracted there, and I'm just being goofy, not trying to mimic Italians. Okay, so now for the performance piece, and they didn't like it. Whatever, or who knows? Who knows why? Oh, it didn't work this morning. Maybe I should take, but then I may have been too lethargic to do this. Um, and I just want to kind of watch that right now. Combining, not entirely knowing the rest of the day at the moment. Um, Watercolor. She didn't say anything about taking a trip. I guess she didn't have to tell me, but or unless that was while she was in Thunder Bay, kind of possibly. Um, hmm. I want to share one other one. it fits with this, so it kind of makes sense. There are two areas of which I could kind of bring this up, and the one I will say is people that own the pit bull type breeds of dogs. I'll eventually get to this. I know. I think I looked through the lyric quickly and thought, "Oh, is it all readable?" And I think so. I hope so. Anywho, except for that bit, he wakes you up, and one or the other. Where's the writing utensil? So I can fix that while I'm looking at it. I'll be right back. Is it up here? No? That's right. I do kind of remember. I'm hungry. I gotta have this. No, that's just a pilot. That's what I have to do. Should probably reply to my comment. That's good enough. I don't know what I think of this concept, and I'll watch it afterwards. Whoops. I want to open it, not copy it. Okay, there. But part of me does want to make it its own piece. I don't want, and there'll still be the time where I'm kind of putting the comments in there. Because it is a very important message that a lot of people need to hear. You see, I'm only a BC. But let me just say this. That's a very interesting image. Let me just say this. And that can't be up to bring that up. People that own the there are two types of, I mean, there's more than two types of animals that maybe make me uncomfortable. But there are two types of household pets that are very common, where a certain type of those pets makes me feel iffy. And I said to the other person in the home the other day that the thing of the matter is that, and that still says upcoming for I don't know when, because I thought 22/13 on the 26th, which is yesterday, last night. It still says it's upcoming. Things are being wonky, and I don't know what happened there. And I don't know if it will be or not. Now I'm seeing the live chat when I come to this here, therefore not a comment area, so I'll have to wait. But I'll keep this there. Or at least it will show there. Anywho, yeah, but I kind of do. I kind of want to do it. Oh, but somebody just tuned in. So that's, that's what really matters most, is if it even reaches one person, I'm happy. But then they left. I don't really want to. I think, why are there three parts to? I mean, I know that there's obviously other elements that I've described, in the description, in the titles, and so obviously distractions, and then other distractions, But I don't want to put too much emphasis to it. As much as I like the title, I don't want to put too much emphasis to like, is this supposed to make me think something? I mean, yeah, maybe, but also maybe not. I don't know how I'm going to do with this. And why was I wanting to do it? Because I couldn't decide the instrument. That's right. Now, I said that a certain part was coming at the 56-minute mark, which is already like 20 minutes ago. So that's a little bit far. So I should just do it now. Oh, right. But the only reason why I kind of didn't start it as a new one was because somebody had tuned in, but then they didn't stay. So, but that doesn't mean they won't be back later. So I think I will. Like I say, you only see him. But no, as far as the pet thing, which I alluded to, you know what though? They are a life. They need a home. It's how they're raised with any pet, but at the same time, some genetic features. You know what? I'll just put it in the thingy, in the somewhere. I'll put it that that part's at the end, but hopefully you enjoy other parts of this. I think that's probably the best way to do it. And the sooner I get this done and then watch that other thing and get lunch, the sooner I can see what's next in the day. Looks like there's a nice breeze out. But anyway, something else that I needed to hear more was really specifically other people rising out of the struggles. They aren't in short supply. People rising out of, I think what I meant by twofold is people going through struggles and people talking about the struggles they're going through is what I believe I meant. I was supposed to be doing this musically. GAC. Did I like the sound of it? I don't remember. Let's go find out together. Oh. Do I want to put the AC on? I'm a little bit warm, but I not to the point where I can. Where I feel like I could ignore being warm for a little bit of time, and then it's fine. Oh. What I might not be able to ignore is the fact that I want more lotion on me hands. That didn't make the dog move at all. Or just to toss it there and forget I want to put it on. Okay. I'm still hemming and hawing. And hawing and hemming. But also rolling with the flow. I mean, hey, it is hard sometimes. I agree. And I also feel like we shouldn't necessarily feel like we have to. We shouldn't necessarily feel like we have to. But sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. And I played a song actually called that in a video just a few days ago. I'd love for you to hear my version of it, but it's Reba McEntire. I can help you try and find it if you like. I do keep busy, but I've also got time. I could do that. Something else I needed to hear. All right. Rising out of the struggle. They aren't in short supply. Twofold, but I mostly did come across them often, even when searching. Everyone seemed above me. I wanted them to love me. Oh, that's I heard stories. I'm adding to this a little bit of the glory. And maybe it's just needed to come from me. He said to you, because only I knew. I know you know what I've been through. What I've been through. As I told you. I'm not out of the struggle yet. I'm definitely feeling closer to success. Didn't mean for that to rhyme by time. With my dreams. And want you to know it's possible. Atypical guy. What sort of inspired this initially was actually this part. You look familiar. Hey, you don't. But okay, either way. Welcome. Just like many guys who have dark hair, including facial. I don't like the chords. I'm going to stick with the other chords. I think they work better. I'm just, and I was like, why is this guy singing about guys with dark hair? I'm out of here. I don't have dark hair. I can't relate. Or I do. I don't know what I'm singing about. I haven't done this very often, combining. Average height and weight, pretty typical. Just gonna add the chords here. And gray and balding, average in appearance too. Welcome, but it's okay. And no, neither of us. Okay. No, it's okay. Be who you are. You are a star.